Welcome back, guys, to another morning workout talk. Today's Wednesday. So today is my chest and tricep day. So I'm going to be working on today. These weeks are just flying by so quickly. And next thing you know, tomorrow will be Thursday. I don't know if this is me, but do you guys see that the weeks, seems like the days are just flying by so quickly? You know, the saying goes is that when you're having fun, time flies, but I don't think that's the case. I just think there's just something collectively going on in our reality. There's a much deeper cause to why, because I'm not the only one that thinks that. A couple of my co-workers and some people that I talk to, they're saying the same thing. They said it's like the times are just flying by. I mean, this year just started, if you guys think about it. 2024 just started. We are already in April going into May. Think about that. It's flying by. Maybe not to you guys, but to me it is. It seems that way. It seems that way. And we all know that perception shapes our reality anyway. So if you perceive in time to be going that fast, then in reality it is going that fast. You know. But then the question is, what shapes your perception? You know, what shapes your perception? And that's the quintessential question that we all have to ask ourselves. What shapes perception? And I know in this reality that we live in, I know a lot of the things that shapes our perception is social media and mainstream narratives. I've always said that. Right, I've always said that. And I think that similar to the biochemistry of the human body, the anatomy of the human body, how certain things in our bodies work, I think that it's analogous. It's not only just a symbolic representation, but it's also analogous to the way that our lives should work. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a person and you decide to start eating healthy, right? And you start putting good foods inside your stomach, and the enzymes and the proteins in your body are doing what they need to do to break down the foods, and the foods that you're feeding those microorganisms are actually great because it causes your body to function at a higher cellular level and all that good stuff, right? But I also think that in life, what you put inside your mind will shape your perception. So yesterday at work, my coworker, he came into my office. He was like, what do you think about the war? And I'm in my head, I'm like, wow, this guy. I'm like, well, I don't think anything about it. I told him, I said, these are all proxy wars for a bigger war. Everything is leading to a World War III. And I said, it doesn't have to even be that way. But the controllers want it to be that way. That war doesn't need to be fought. I told them how Hamas, Israel, Iran, whatever conflict that there is, it's being manufactured by the West. And the Israeli Mossad, Israel runs America. So when I'm telling him all this, I'm looking at him as if he understands what I'm saying. And he's like, yeah. Then he started going into how Trump is going to be the next president, how he really doesn't like Trump that much. But as a black guy, he likes him, his boldness. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is all an act. Like, I don't think people understand and maybe I didn't make myself clear, and maybe it's just way over his head, or maybe it's just too much for him to fathom that this whole thing is an act. It's no different than you guys watching a play on television or somebody inserting themselves into theater, and then you're given a script and you play a character. Like, this character says this character says that, and this character yawns, and this character says this with an exclamation mark because they're angry, and this character shouts. Everybody is playing a part in this. Some people are more ignorant than others. The ancillary pieces to the entire puzzle piece, but the ones in the higher ups, like the presidential candidates, they're given a script, folks. They're actors. And I think that my coworker, it was too much. It was almost as if like he didn't hear what I said. I was telling him that no, These wars are fake wars. Now, they're real wars. People are getting killed. Now, what I mean that are fake wars is that they're wars that are being caused by one single conglomerate, all right, apart from what the world wants. The world doesn't want war, all right? Despite what you guys have been made to believe, no common citizen wants war. Even if you're not the one in the war. Nobody likes war, folks. But these wars are created, conflict. And I didn't even want to get deeper into my extraterrestrial theories with him, because I knew that really would have blew him away. But there's certain extraterrestrial beings that feed off of our emotional energy. They eat our energy. I talked about this on Monday. They feed off of blood. Not literal blood, like they're not drinking the blood, but there are certain species, or I would call them reptilians, shape-shifting reptilians, that feed off of the adrenochrome. That's the blood of a human being that's under an extreme amount of stress. Usually they're draining your blood in the process of drinking. I don't even want to talk about that, because that's very cruel and gruesome. I don't want to even get into the details of that. But suffice it to say that there's an agenda for everything. Everything has its different layers of intentionality and purpose. So with some people may look at it from a political lens and say, oh, the red states and the blue states. Look, man, there are no red or blue states. They're just states. And the divide concept, the dividing principle, or the formula of division is always, it's a mechanism that's always been used since the beginning of time, folks. You divide, and it's easy to conquer people who are divided. Whether it's you thinking that you're going to choose a political candidate. Now, the only thing that my coworker said that made sense to me is that he talked about, do you know in The Simpsons, years ago, it talked about Trump being reelected. I mean, how does a cartoon? And then I was looking at him like, okay, are you starting to get it? That this is all an act? That these things, presidents are not elected, they are selected. And so once you look at it, and then after he said that, he said, I don't know, I think people's brains, I don't know if it's the foods they eat or there's something missing from a neurological perspective, like all the screws aren't tight. After acknowledging the fact that, yeah, these things are planned ahead of time, then he talks about who he would vote for. But then, that's what I mean by critical thinking, folks. How you have to connect the dots. If presidents are selected, then your votes don't mean. Your votes don't mean anything. If presidents are not elected, and if they are selected, then your voting doesn't mean a damn thing. But yet he starts to talk about voting and how oh well, yeah, I didn't really vote for. I mean, I would never vote for him, but I mean, what? Your vote doesn't mean anything. You said it yourself out of your own mouth that they already knew he would be reelected. So in his head, he believes that, whether this is true or not, he believes that Trump will be elected again, right? So if he knows that, why would you then start talking about voting? You see what I'm talking about? Like, that's what I mean by piecing the dots, connecting the dots. Once you find out one truth, it becomes much easier, okay? It becomes much easier to start backing up here, concentrating. It makes it much easier to start unraveling the entire plan, the manipulative tactics used by the controllers. You start to understand what's going on. So, I mean, this is hard. That some people just don't get it. They just don't, and maybe it takes time. But that right there was a surreal moment for me to talk to another adult who's older than me, by the way. And it's like he's starting to get it, but it's almost like he doesn't get it. But how can you not get it when you just said it yourself? You just no, it's a paradox. It's a huge conundrum. Like, how can you know one thing, but then you can't know the other thing? I don't know. But yeah, so it's very important what you feed yourself. Not just eating, physical eating, but I mean what you feed your mind. And you have to have a balance. I'm not the type of person to say, oh, go watch a bunch of positive videos and think positive all the time and positive this and positive that. I believe that there's a time for that, but there's also a time to indulge in the negativity, because the negativity is here. There's negative energy and positive energy. They both coexist within the same referent. They both coexist within the same cipher. Once you start acknowledging positive energy, by default, the existence of negative energy exists. Like, you can't evade that. What you have to do is use both to your own advantage. Negative energy could be used for motivation. I'll give you an example. What's the term? When people hate on me. When people hate on me, it pushes me. How many times do you hear stories of people who have hit the world's perception of success? Because I say the world's perception of success, because I don't believe that success is an end game. I believe that success is the journey. Success is never, oh, what I'm going to get to. What you do in your daily life is success. Whether you're a billionaire or a thousandaire, or whether you're a millionaire or a hundredaire, I don't know. Let's not use money as the metric. Okay? Because there are many people who are rich, but to me, money is not the single most defining factor of success. How you live your life daily, and how you interact with people daily, how you accomplish your goals and tasks daily, be it long-term goals or short-term goals, the journey in which you're taking to fulfill your goals, that's success to me. Because then if success is the end game, then that means that everyone is a failure until they get to that success. And I don't think success should be viewed that way. So I say world's perception of success. So anyway, now I lost my point. What was I talking about here? Yeah, so hold on, give me a second. World's perceptions. Oh yeah. So a lot of people who get success, all right, in the world's term of success, meaning when they get to that certain point, they say, oh, I've made it, I'm successful. Because then once you get to that point, then what's the incentive? What is there for you to live for after that? Because once you've conquered success, then what's your motivation then? Then you just start to decline, which is what happens to a lot of people. But if you don't view success as a linear thing, that it starts here and then I have to get there, like it's a destination, then you become a person that lives a life of success, regardless of your external circumstances. Because internally you are successful, because you think your way of success, and you can navigate through the negative and positive frequencies that come your way. So a person that perceives themselves to be successful based upon the worldly metric will say, oh yeah, I'm going to think positive to get there, not knowing that you're supposed to use the negative energy to get you there as well. Okay? How many times you hear people say this? Yeah, when I was growing up, they said I was never going to make it. They said I was not going to make it. My teachers told me I wasn't going to make it, but look at me now. I'm a millionaire. I'm successful. So that's an example of somebody taking negative energy and using it as a way to fuel them or motivate them, to compel them to actually push through situations that they otherwise would have probably given up on. But that's the positive outcome based from a negative foundation, from a negative base, from a negative principle. You take the negative principle of people looked down on me and didn't believe that I could achieve, and then you use that as a way to achieve. Even personally in my own life, the things that I went through if you look at one of my videos that I made, it's like over an hour. I think I titled it The Ancestors or something Won't Let You Down or something like that. The thumbnail is my face on there. It's like my big face is on there. You'll see it. And I talked over an hour about the things that I went through in my life. Nothing horrible, but the things that shaped me to be the way I am. And those little childhood moments, they matter, man. They matter because at a younger age, we're more empathic. What do I mean by that? We can feel pain better. That's why kids cry easily. They're more emotional. Is the older we get, we become more numb to the things of life, and we don't cry anymore. We just hold things in. You know, crying is a way to detoxify your emotions. Crying is a way to release. Crying is actually therapeutic. Against popular beliefs, crying is not a bad thing. It's good to your body and good to your spirit for you to cry. So you have to use negative energy and use positive energy as well. They both work together. It's a balancing act. So I'm not here to tell people to always think positive, but be careful when you think negative too. If the negative thinking is hindering you from your overall output in terms of how you perform in your day-to-day life, then that's not good. But if the negative energy is forcing you to think deeper about some of the decisions you're making and force you to, to change some of the things that you do, then yeah, that's good. So for instance, I'll give you an example. If somebody hates their job, somebody may say, man, you're negatively thinking. You should be happy that the good Lord gave you a job. By the sweat of your brow, you're supposed to work. You got to be a slave and work to eat, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because no one should be working to eat. The planet is a seed planet. The planet is supposed to yield fruit to us. We are the gods of the planet. Trees bend and yield fruit to us. They bow to us. If we take care of the land and we take care of nature, it takes care of us. There's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship between man and nature, but the European has come here and said, no, we're supposed to just take advantage of nature and plunder it and use it for all its resources and then destroy it in the process. So that's why we've become industrial slaves, and that's what the education system is getting people prepared for. It's not an educational system; it's an indoctrinational system that miseducates people and gives people wrong information. But it's not about informing people or giving people more knowledge, not the true knowledge that they need. Because if they actually enlighten people, people would wake the hell up to understand that your controllers are the ones that are putting you in the position that you're in. And the controllers don't want you to be that knowledgeable. They give you surface type knowledge enough for the masses to be controlled. Because if everybody knows or thinks the same way, then they could funnel you into their traps and have you thinking that you're supposed to be working to eat. No, not supposed to be working to eat. We're supposed to be using our minds to develop and create, not working to eat. Eating is not supposed to work to eat. Guys don't work to eat. Food just comes to you. It grows. All right? And it's pleasurable. I'll give you an example. See, I'm a big connect the dot kind of guy. When a man and a woman get married, do they have to work? Do they have to work to create a child? You say, well, yeah, Dad. Well, it's not. Well, it's a trick question, because technically you could say to work, making love to your wife, or if you're a woman, making love to your husband, or having sex, whatever you do, there has to be an act that happens. An act has to take place. An action has to take place to yield fruit. The fruit is the child. When man has a good relationship with nature, follow me. When man has a good relationship with nature, nature bears fruit for the man. Why does the man have to work to eat that fruit? The man already kind of technically put in the work by planting the seed. Going back to my analogy, when a man is having sex with his wife, the man plants the seed inside the soul of the woman, and the woman bears fruit, the child. Now, of course, I'm not saying we eat our children, but the child that comes out, they call it a bundle of joy. It brings joy to the family. You raise the child, you bring it up in the way that you want to bring it up. You watch the child develop, right? So with that same symbolic representation that I'm using that comparison, sort of like a parallelism here. If you take the concept of man and woman having sex to create a child, take the concept of man in general. When I say mankind, it means humanity. If we had a good relationship with Earth, the Earth would yield fruit to us. We wouldn't have to work to eat because the food would be just there. Like your wife bearing fruit is love symbolism to say, hey, we love each other so much we produced life. If we loved nature so much, we would produce foods that gave us life. It wouldn't be called work. We would have a different mindset. It wouldn't be working a 9-to-5 job. It would be, man, we're going out there, we're planting seeds, literally planting seeds. We would all be agrarian. We would all have a farming mindset. Even with raising cattle, what you put into something, you should be able to get out of it. It's the mindset we have as a humanity. Work to eat. That's slave mentality. Labor, labor, labor to eat. Slave mentality. But if you look at it as a way of, no, it's a relationship. It's a synergistic relationship between two reference. Nature and man. Nature and man are one. And when they come together as one, they help each other. Nature gets nurtured by you, and nature nurtures the human. It goes back and forth. Goes back and forth. Hate that damn slave mentality. It's disgusting. Well, anyway, man, that's my spiel. Damn, are people already going in? What time is it? Let me see here. 4:53. Wow, this is okay. Let me start getting ready then to get my stuff out. People are moving pretty quickly, huh? All right, guys, thank you for indulging me in my talk and my rant. I'll be making more videos about nutrition, my book studies. There's nothing right now currently. I do have something to talk about after the gym. I do have something to talk about. But yeah, I'll let you guys know what it is when I get on. All right, thank you guys for listening. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and thank you for indulging me in this morning workout talk. All right, bye guys, take care.